At war's end, the Third Reich lay in literal ruins. German units surrendered, turning over mountains of equipment, weapons, and kit. The remaining factories were piled high with now unwanted military equipment and munitions. Aside from some vehicles and weapons that were reused by Allied nations, or stockpiled and then later shipped mostly to various Third World countries during the Cold War, most military equipment from the ruins of Hitler's Reich was surplus to requirements. Scrapping was the usual fate for much of it, or being buried in huge landfills or dumped at sea. But a lot of military equipment could actually be adapted for civilian use, and for the civilian population of Germany subsisting in the early years after the war amid the rubble and damage, German military kit became a vital commodity.
Place and time meant nothing, because the links between the people were smashed too. They were just left wandering, searching, looking for food, looking for their homes, looking for each other. They are still stunned by what hit them, stunned by the war they started. But in the search for food and the urge to get home, the life force is beginning to stir again. Today, our powers of destruction are terrifying, but the will to live is still stronger.
German uniforms, stripped of insignia, continued to be worn by German workers as working clothes long after the war. This was because of widespread clothing shortages. People wore what they had. However, in this video we will examine how Germans upcycled Third Reich equipment to create clever civilian items vital for German households during the post-war recovery period. These items were created often in factories that switched over from war production to civilian supplies on the orders of the Allies, initially by using up pre-surrender stocks of military kit and munitions, or equipment collected up and later sent to be recycled. See if you can guess what these civilian items were made from. I'll start you with an easy one. This is an enameled small milk churn. As you can see, it was originally a German military gas mask canister that has had the lid removed and replaced with something new, the straps taken off, and a handle welded on, and then dipped in enamel to create a robust little container for fresh milk. This gas mask canister has been converted into a very handy watering can. Now they get a little harder. How about this drinking vessel? Well, it is actually the hollow head of a Panzerfaust anti-tank warhead. The weapon wasn't a rocket, as some people think. Rather, the warhead was propelled by a black powder charge, the hollow tube acting as an exhaust, making the Panzerfaust a recoilless weapon. The warhead was fired at an angle with an effective range of 60 meters or 200 feet. Here is another example of a recycled Panzerfaust head, this time turned into a small coffee pot with lid, handle and spout added. Many Panzerfaust warhead components were readily adaptable into heavy-duty large domestic funnels, seen here, with a spout and handle welded on, and then the whole thing enameled for durability. This is a coffee cup, but it started its life as something far more deadly. This metal cup is actually the head of a German stick grenade, the Stielgranate 24.
The head consists of a thin iron casing filled with explosive. It is screwed on the wooden handle, through the center of which runs a double length of cord,
with once again a handle welded on, creating a durable enamel mug. Electricity supplies in the immediate post-war period were often non-existent or minimal because of the Allied bombing of power stations. So this little lamp would have sold well. It is actually made out of the filter of a German civilian gas mask with various new pieces welded on. Some companies adapted the base of the civilian gas mask filter to colanders for kitchen use, adding a bowl, a handle and a hook, all enameled for strength and durability. This innocent-looking thick glass vessel continued in production for a while post-war for domestic uses, though if you drop the World War II version, you'd have more than glass on your floor. These started life as a very nasty and almost undetectable anti-personnel device, the Glasmine 43, or what Allied troops often called the glass mine. Stripped of its explosive filling and detonator, the glass body had obvious uses as a jar or a vessel for liquid in the civilian home. In order to prevent its closure by the Allied authorities, the company manufacturing glass mines quickly changed over to civilian production, continuing to manufacture the glass mine cases as soup and salad bowls, supplying flour decals to the weapons. These proved very popular due to the shortage of glassware just after the war in Germany. It's pretty obvious that these items were once something quite different, and I expect you've guessed they were German steel helmets. Helmets were adapted for a variety of uses, as we see here, being made into colanders for use in the kitchen, also cooking pots, and quite often adapted into chamber pots. There were plenty of helmets lying around, with over 30 million steel helmets made by Germany before and during the war, and almost no use for them after the war. Some, of course, were sent on to be used by fire brigade, police, and also the border protection force, the Bundesgrenzschutz, when that was formed. And indeed, production restarted to produce some post-war German World War II-style helmets. But the good majority were scrapped, buried, or as we see here, adapted for post-war use in the domestic setting. Thanks for watching, please subscribe and share, and also visit my audiobook channel, War Stories with Mark Felton. You can also help to support both of my channels at PayPal and Patreon, details in the description box below.